You want to know how I know that we're headed for a recession? Well, the Fed cannot do anything at this point. They've backed themselves into a corner, and I think I need your guys' help today to help me figure out what's going on here or what's going to really happen at this point. Yesterday I made a video before the PPI report was released. The PPI report basically was way hotter than expected. That is inflation on the producer level, which many times I've told you guys in the past, if we have a bad PPI, it's also very likely that we're going to have a bad CPI as well too. Now, honestly, I can't really tell if we're going to have a bad CPI this morning, because as I said in another video that I recorded earlier over the weekend, this is the first CPI report that we're doing that is excluding the price of coffee. So they're just completely taking it out. Now, as I showed you guys on the other video, coffee has completely exploded in price during the month of April. Now, it did peak in the month of April and came down a little bit, but by the end of the month, the price was still a lot higher than when the month started. So because of that, I figured that they're, continuing to manipulate the formula to water down these numbers to make them look better than they actually are. That's because I don't think that the Fed is truly capable of actually bringing inflation down. No. We're just going to tweak the formulas and the calculations because that is how we're going to get to 2%, not actually getting there. Now, anyway, I want to talk about this corner that the Fed has painted themselves into and is basically impossible to get out of. Now, this comes back to the consumer sentiment report that was released last Friday. It was one of the worst reports we've had in a really long time because consumers are getting pissed off about the economy. Now, why is everybody getting pissed off about the economy? Well, on one side, you have high interest rates. It's very expensive to borrow. So people are deferring a lot of their big ticket purchases because interest rates are high. So people aren't buying homes. Car sales are going down. I see on my suggested videos on YouTube, I see all kinds of very smart people, people who specialize in talking about the housing markets, people who specialize about talking about the auto markets and the used car markets. So I like to watch those videos too and just get everybody else's perspective. And it seems like everybody has a pretty similar message, which is we're all experiencing a pretty significant slowdown. And that is no surprise when you have high interest rates. Although you do see credit card borrowing increasing, that's not necessarily a sign of, people taking on the credit because they want to. It's just that prices are so high and people's wages aren't going up enough. So they have to borrow the money. The people don't want to borrow money at the highest credit card interest rates we've seen in a long time. People don't want that. They're doing it because they have to. So anyways, that's one end of the spectrum, is these high interest rates makes it, people are getting very frustrated with it. And so consumer sentiment is down because of that. But if we cut the interest rates and try to alleviate some of those concerns, then inflation is going to start to run rampant. And that's the other side of it. People are also frustrated that prices are continuing to go up. They're climbing. Things are very expensive now. And people want to see inflation coming down. But how are we going to get inflation to come down if we start to cut the rates, right? It's like we can't have it both ways. We're either going to have those high interest rates or raise them even more to try to get inflation down. Or we're going to have to cut the rates to help people who were frustrated with that aspect, and inflation's going to start to run. So either way, the Fed is in a situation where they are going to have bad consumer sentiment no matter what. And the reason this matters, consumer sentiment, right? I was talking about my private group about this last night. I have an online investment club where I do live coaching calls with you guys every Sunday night. Although last night was Tuesday, we had to move it because there was Mother's Day. And then my rim cracked when we were down at the hotel for at the beach for the weekend. So I pushed it back to last night. But one of the things I was explaining to the group was about consumer sentiment and why that's important, why that matters, why we measure it. Because when you have high expectations, or when consumers have high expectations of the economy, they go out and spend. They start to contribute to the economy. It starts to grow. You start to see stimulation. You just see a higher velocity of money when you have good expectations. You have bad expectations. People think we're about to go to a recession. People think that there's going to be high inflation. People think that these interest rates are going to kill us. Then what are they going to do? They're going to scale back on their purchases. They're going to save more. They're going to borrow less, theoretically. And you start to see a slowdown in the economy, right? So expectations are very important. And the Fed has stated this many times before too. We really, 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 really care about expectations. That's like the big thing that Jerome Powell and the Fed keep on repeating and stating. Expectations are so important. Well, how are expectations going to get any better from here? You know, we have a double-edged sword and we can't have it both ways. So anyways, there are a couple of things that I can think of that we can invest into right now that are going to win no matter what, that are going to win whether inflation goes up or whether these high interest rates stay high for a long time. There are a few areas in the market I think we can invest into that we can actually make a lot of money over the next few years. So that's why I have my online investing club for people who are new, people who want to learn more about how you can use inflation or recessionary environments to actually make a lot more money and to get wealthier. Rich people do this all the time. Rich people love inflation. I've made videos about that in the past. I've explained why that is the case. So there's lots of, there's lots of things that we kind of cover. There's lots of things that we go over on this channel. That's why I recommend you guys subscribe. But if you guys are new to investing, you guys are new to, putting money into the markets and figuring out how to position yourself correctly, especially in these environments that we're in right now, that's where you're going to want to click the link down below in the description and consider joining into my investment club where I can help you guys get positioned more correctly, right? Or I can at least show you guys how I'm doing it, so you guys can kind of see my strategy and how it's working for me. My net worth has hit multiple all-time highs this year in 2024. You think that, wow, maybe your net worth is starting to come down a little bit. Maybe it's kind of stagnating and going sideways. Nope. It's been going up and up and up for the whole year. And we're going to continue doing that because the positions that we have locked in already are so good. So if you want to learn more about that, check out the online investing club, or you can shoot me a message or leave a comment down below if you have any questions about it. More than happy to help you guys out. That's why I do these videos, because I love to just speak my mind and tell you guys the raw truth, and I don't have to sugarcoat it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.